Hello everybody, this is the Director of Creativity, Kieran Smith, and because Craig sucks with his WrestleMania predictions, this is episode 11.
Hello, welcome to Dirt Sheet Mania episode 11. I am your chief of... Oh, for God's... WrestleMania was so difficult to predict! Why was it difficult? There was like 107 matches. I got 4 bloody points! 4!
You got 4 points.
4! I got 2 on the pre-show!
To be fair, I only got
2!
8. I only got 8, but it's better than you, so...
Oh, I need to lie down.
It's like WWE have gone, let's look at the betting odds on Sky Bets and things
Well, we
like
didn't
that.
look at that.
No, we
so
didn't.
A friend of ours, Callum, was round, and he kept goading us with these Sky Bet predictions, which me and you were not particularly amused with. Yet after each match, he would then tell us what the odds was, which I thought was actually quite... I didn't mind doing it that way around.
Yeah.
And there's so many things in this show that I didn't think would happen. So many things. Clearly.
First off, it was a crazy, crazy long show. And honestly, right now, I'm still feeling tired from that whole weekend of wrestling. I'm knackered. I need a break from it all.
I didn't watch the Hall of Fame live, but I did watch NXT live with you and WrestleMania with you. Yeah. I watched Raw the Tuesday, the Monday after, and I watched NXT SmackDown as well, same gimmick. So I haven't stayed up 6 straight nights. 5?
God knows how long.
I mean, we were just talking about this off air. If you think the week before WrestleMania, you had Monday Raw, Tuesday SmackDown, Wednesday NXT, Thursday nothing. That was a day off to recover. Friday Hall of Fame, Saturday NXT, Sunday WrestleMania, Monday Raw after Mania, Tuesday Raw after Mania, and then the little kind
SmackDown after Mania.
What did I say?
You said Raw twice.
See?
Yeah, tired,
confused, bemused. And then in 3 weeks we've got the Greatest Royal Rumble, which I don't even know if the winner gets anything. And then 10 days after that we got Backlash. And this is all with now condensed pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It's not getting any easier, is it?
So NXT TakeOver on Saturday night was a wonderful show.
Yeah, honestly, a wonderful, glorious show. That main event with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa was just... It was art. It was just
It was all about storytelling. It wasn't so much a great wrestling match, but the story that was told in that match was just tremendous.
It wasn't, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania-esque. It was just the storytelling, the way that one friend broke another's dream, injured him, came back, got suspended, fired.
Yeah.
Oh, just everything in between. It was wonderfully done.
We have a new NXT champion in Aleister Black.
We do, which we should say now, even though we were horrific, I was horrific at WrestleMania, I actually got the same amount of points off 5 matches of NXT as I did on a 14-card WrestleMania.
Yeah. So Shayna Baszler's now new women's champion.
She is.
Undisputed Era retained the tag team titles and are now the Dusty Cup.
And as well as that, Roddy Strong eventually, we thought this would have happened at some point, but eventually decided to screw over not necessarily screw over his tag team partner Pete Dunne, which was kind of a one-shot deal thing for the Dusty Rhodes Classic. But he eventually joined Undisputed Era,
so
which
we'll no doubt get Undisputed Era versus British Strong Style some point down the line.
I think Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly, because Bobby Fischer's still injured, faced Trent Seven and Tyler at X Access.
Okay.
So and then Pete came out for the save and Adam Cole came out. So I think they've already started testing the waters of that, but that's definitely going to happen.
Okay, and then obviously Adam Cole is the inaugural North American champion,
which was the only one me and you got wrong on.
Well, on 6 different participants. It was I picked between 3 out of the 6. I think we made it down to. So
we did. But yeah, so we got the same. We got 4 each from NXT, and now we're going to go through our WrestleMania ones real quick because it's a 40-match show. So we're literally going to try and hammer through these guys. If you didn't watch WrestleMania and you're listening to this podcast, where you been? Like we know, you know what's happened. We know what's happened. We're just going to tell you what we predicted if you hadn't seen that before. So we're going to start in the order of our graphic. So if you do see our graphic on social media still about who Craig and Kieran's predictions were, then just drag that up super quick and you can see what we're going to go through. So we said Cena Taker. We both said John Cena, and the Undertaker beat him. And I saw the time actually. You know the whole Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss thing.
Was it 2 minutes 36? Or something like
it was
that?
under 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Could you ever even begun to imagine that this would happen?
So I think this. You said it when we were watching it. So you think this will lead up to WrestleMania 35?
Yeah, I come to the conclusion that they might not have actually had a match at WrestleMania 34, and that the Undertaker would basically challenge Cena next year to a match at 35, career versus career.
Yeah.
Okay, they had a match, and nothing happened. Spoiler: nothing happened on Raw, nothing happened on SmackDown. It's just kind of come and gone, and I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, it was short. It was sweet. It's like John Cena done the favor. He done a favor. And there's nothing wrong with that.
How many vets would have done it in that manner?
No, I don't think many would have done, to be fair.
How do you think the way because this is the only match that was completely on the night sort of thing. Yeah. How did you like the way that they did it when Dan Edgar, referee, ran down after the Charlotte Asuka match, jumped the rail, told Cena someone's seen him, and then Cena ran up the ramp?
Yeah, I like the whole fact he was in a crowd, and something that I asked for on our preview show.
You said he wanted to be from the start, and he was.
Yeah,
the whole pre-show
in his civvies gear.
In jeans.
In jeans.
Having a beer. How many beers did he give away?
It was apple juice.
Probably was apple juice.
But
it was Pepsi Max.
Yeah, I liked it. There was a few times where it cut to him, and I was like, I don't need to cut to him here. I think on the pre-show he was very much. He knew the camera was always next to him.
Apparently, he was not very happy that they went to break, and then Kairi Sane was eliminated from the women's battle royale.
Yeah.
Apparently, he said it on camera. I mean, there were 6 of us in your room watching WrestleMania, so I didn't hear that, but that is every report I read on social media is. So he's very vocal anyway, Cena, even when he's off script.
Yeah, I just think there's a few times where he didn't need to cut to him.
No, absolutely.
On the main show, but when he was on the main show, he looked like he was actually watching the action. I'm sure he loved that SmackDown women's title match as well. So
that was an exceptional match. But when it comes to the match itself, Elias obviously came out for his presentation, interrupted Cena, I believe.
Yeah.
Went into an Elias production. Cena came back out. We thought we were done there, and then eventually the dead man did appear. Yeah. Now
he looked in good shape. Taker.
Oh, he looked class. No, he did for the all in all probably about 10 minutes or so. He was out in the ring or doing his entrance or leaving. He looked extremely good, and he looked like he definitely in great shape. I again, because of what they did last year and because of who has been inducted this year, I thought we're going to see Roland Taker. We're going to see American Badass. We're going to see Bikes. There was a few things that knocked that on the head as the night went round. One, Kid Rock wasn't at the thing. Apparently, he had another performance to be at. Fair enough. And there were bikes in the Triple H Stephanie entrance. Yeah, so again, are they going to do another bike? Straight away we thought that was probably unlikely.
Yeah.
The hat and the coat in the ring, callback from the year before. No gloves though. I'm thinking of his gloves though.
I'm sure the gloves are there.
They're hidden under the hat. Bolt with lightning, and then Taker had his hat and gloves on. It just made last year a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
I just didn't make.
Depends where this goes. It could make all sense.
True. No, absolutely. I mean, one thing we do try and stick to here is the bigger picture, not get ahead of it too soon, but just on reflection from WrestleMania, which, is there to be reflected on. Okay, the match itself, I have no problem with Cena getting beaten a couple of minutes, no issue at all, because I think that is a bigger picture. But from last year, when he got beat by Roman, and that was so huge, and when the crew were taking the ring down after 33, they left the stuff in the ring for as long as they could, and I don't know, it just seemed like they could have gone more with that, but and he could have just he came out on Raw 25 and he had the hood,
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went wrong. Taker won very, very, very quickly. Cruiserweight Championship match. I said Mustafa Ali. You said Cedric. You got a point.
I won. Yeah.
You got a point there. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. I said Matt Hardy.
Great pick.
You said Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And I won.
You won.
I tell you what, if I'm going to guess, I know how horrific, it did very bad at WrestleMania, but to get that one right,
Yeah.
I was delighted.
Great little pop for Bray Wyatt coming out in the middle of it.
And finally, I said it before the Rumble, the Great War should be them against the people, not them against each other. And after they've gone through the Ultimate Deletion, I think it looks like we're going to get what we wanted. Well, I got what I wanted.
Yeah, but I also got what I wanted as well, and the fact that I got a point for choosing who was last eliminated.
I was so cross. So you said it would be Baron Corbin. I said Mojo Rawley. In actual fact, Matt,
they were the last three.
Matt, Mojo, and Corbin were the final three. Yeah. So I was well happy considering you know, you're thinking, Matt Hardy to win a battle royal. One of my mates even messaged me after he saw our prediction, was like, "Are you mental?" I was like, and then the second Matt one, I was like, oh. So, but that was about the last laugh I was going to get. Women's match, I said the winner would be Sasha. You said the winner would be Becky, and the last eliminated I said was Bayley, and you said Sasha. Well, Sasha was in the ring last.
Yes. So we all thought that, you know, however it went, I think Sasha was third or second to last eliminated. Bayley ended up being the last eliminated because Naomi, who was outside in the ring, snuck in and threw Bayley over. And I think at that point I was celebrating.
Yeah, that was it, because you thought you'd won. And then in actual fact, because I'd said Bayley would be last eliminated, I got the point instead of you.
Yeah.
So you were popping very hard.
I was popping very hard, and then Naomi sneaks in. I'm like, oh God, no.
And then I was the other side of the room with Nico, and we were like really happy. So fair enough. So I got a point there, and
so I was 2-2 on the pre-show.
It was 2-2, and I was leaving the pre-show. Okay, we talked about Cena Taker, but fine. I was leaving the pre-show very optimistic.
Yeah,
3 matches, 2 points. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm thinking really good. We move on. United States Championship match, fatal 4-way. Jinder Mahal versus Bobby Roode versus the champion Randy Orton versus the only recently added Rusev. We both said Rusev.
Yeah,
and subsequently both lost because
Jinder
Mahal.
Yeah,
what a year for Jinder. Generally, what a year. Last year he was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royale on the pre-show and was last eliminated by Mojo.
At least he's gone up in terms of what he was doing at WrestleMania. Baron Corbin's still stayed in the in the Battle Royal.
Kind of just show.
Look, this will probably be a what the WWE title run Jinder had. This should have been for the US title a year ago. This whole thing made more sense for the US title.
Yeah.
And this is what you'll probably see. They'll probably just rehash it, do the same thing with the US.
I hope he has it for a year.
Yeah.
I think there's no, why, you want to play off stereotypes and sort of strong character led performances. I think Jinder with the character he has in America is going to go down a tree, and so far it has.
Yeah.
His mic skills are up and down a little bit, but I think his physical ability is extraordinary. So well done Jinder on that one. Intercontinental Championship match, which actually opened the show.
Yep.
Seth, Miz, and Finn. Good match, extremely good match to open WrestleMania with. Given about solid good 20 minutes or so. We both said Miz again.
Yep.
And we're wrong.
Again.
Seth. I mean, my logic was Seth and Finn would go towards the Universal Championship match.
Yeah.
And that's clearly wrong because Seth won.
A lot of people disappointed that we didn't get to see Demon Balor, but I'm not.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
It wasn't. If you're ever going to see the Demon, it'll be for like a special event. Well, if he went for the Universal title again, that's when you'll probably see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also it has to be an important storyline.
Yeah.
And like you even said it just before he came out. You said if it's Demon Balor, he can't lose.
Yeah, he's only ever lost to Joe as Demon Balor. So
that's NXT.
And that was NXT.
Yeah.
So he can't lose. He can't lose if he's Demon Balor.
And if he does, it massively, decreases the opportunity to win. So, yeah. So he obviously Seth wins that. I mean, I think the entrance that Finn did have was probably a lot more powerful than having.
The Demon. I think it was the New Orleans LGBT community doing the lifting of the arms thing, the lights going on. So
Sonya Deville even tweeted, because obviously Sonya Deville is a gay woman, and she's proud, which is great, and she is supported. I think it was in her hair. Was it cornrows?
I think
hair?
so. Yeah.
She had the different colours of the LGBT, which is again really cool. So no, I think that was a far more powerful entrance that Finn could have done then. having the
although it might have
demon.
probably been lost on people watching at home, maybe or people watching in the crowd. Sorry, not on the home, because obviously Cole put it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the crowd, they may not have got it. So
No, absolutely. No, fair enough. Moving on, SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This is embarrassing because I said Usos, you said New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers.
the reason why I went Bludgeon Brothers, New Day, because I didn't think.
Don't change your horse now, mate.
I didn't think the Bludgeon Brothers were ready per se in terms of storyline, but they went for it. I didn't like this. It was a short match.
Oh,
disappointingly,
This was what I would call a lit down.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's not their fault. This is what happens. I mean, if you want to, we can hash it over again. The problem with this year's WrestleMania, because there's time constraints. Even on a 5-hour show, you had 2 matches go quick: Cena, Taker, and this.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Really disappointing. I thought this could have genuinely and honestly been one of the matches that people go, remember that 3-way for the SmackDown tag titles at Mania 34? That was blimey. That was amazing.
Was it last year that they weren't defended the SmackDown tag titles?
Yeah, not at all.
And
so
they were only defended in a 5-minute match this year.
The Usos made it onto the main show of WrestleMania.
Finally. And they deserve it.
But it was pants.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. And they got pinned.
Yeah.
I think.
Was
it
I can't remember.
It was not memorable.
No.
So yeah, Bludgeon Brothers roll on. They're really professionally, but not storyline wise.
Yeah,
I think I completely agree with. First shot.
Yeah.
So there you go. The Bar versus Braun Strowman and a partner of his choosing.
Probably the pop of the night, maybe.
Oh my god, the hot tag was the pop of the night. The hot tag.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
Braun Strowman obviously was about to unveil his tag partner, and he says it's going to be one of you, pointing to the WWE.
I thought
universe.
he was broken. I thought he was just being a bit of a spanner.
Yeah, I thought when he said that, I was like, oh god, thinking of who could have been in the crowd, maybe a celebrity would have been good.
This is what I'm saying, because when he started walking around, you start seeing people that wrestlers. No Way Jose was there.
Yeah.
And former British wrestler, now PC trainer Johnny Moss was there. I'm thinking, Johnny Moss is a unit. Imagine them two together. And he's going round and it's like, who the hell could this be? And then he just goes, I want you. And it's like, he's seen someone. This is it. Who's this?
10-year-old kid. Yep.
A 10-year-old child.
Is he 10? 9? I think
he was 10. No, he's
definitely
10.
10. Yeah.
He's in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
So Braun brought him to the ring. We find out his name is Nicholas.
Yeah. Crowd starting chanting, "Let's go, Nicholas!"
Literally within an instant of finding out his name, the crowd are chanting Nicholas. If you go on social media as well, social media was awash with fine bits, which we'll get to momentarily. Braun did 99.9% of the work. And you think, Craig, what else did Nicholas do? Well, Nicholas, boys and girls, if you didn't see it, we should have done, got a hot tag.
Yep. And the crowd went nuts.
Absolutely apeshit.
Crazy.
Bonkers. I might watch that again later.
Yeah, it was fun. And then he immediately tagged Braun straight back in. And Braun was suddenly fresh again.
Braun was fine. He literally had he must have been in for about 20 seconds. He didn't kind of walk forward a bit. And Cesaro's trying to get up off the floor. Yeah. He looks up and there's a 10-year-old boy looking down at him. Is like, Nicholas very quickly decides it's not for him and tags Braun. And then,
as much as this was a great little thing, I think a celebrity involvement would have been okay, for this or something. It would have got more main. Well, I don't know. Would it? No.
I agree. If a celebrity is involved, depending on what celebrity, depends on what kind of stream it goes down. Why not Snoop Dogg? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I wish he was.
I mean, I don't know what celebrities were there, but I'm sure there was a few. But we knew that we were watching Practical Jokers and Q and Sal were there. Not that they would have been the physical specimens that they are in the ring, but it could have been something.
I think so. But you know what? If you've probably seen Raw, what happens? We'll talk about that shortly. But again, we both got that wrong because we said the Bar.
Yeah.
So well done, Craig and Kieran.
Well done.
Next one. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. If Daniel Bryan and Shane win, then Kevin and Sami are gone forever. But if Kevin and Sami win, they are back on SmackDown Live. You went for Bryan and Shane. Now, and I went for Kevin and Sami. Now, I should say straight off the bat, straight away, 4 of my favourites. Generally, if you want to put a match together, I was delighted with that. I love Shane McMahon. I wore his jersey Sunday night. I've got his Survivor Series one from a couple of years ago. And Daniel Bryan is amazing. So I wanted them to win, but when it comes to guessing between me and you, I have to think logically, like, what could happen? I need to try and foreshadow. I was wrong.
You were very wrong.
I was very wrong.
You were wrong.
I was 50% wrong.
Yeah. The only reason why I went for Brian Shane is because I think Brian couldn't lose that match. Shane could have maybe taken the pinfall, which would have been a perfect get out to that. But I just think Brian in New Orleans coming back, where obviously he had his Wrestlemania moment.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian won the match. It was great to see him back in the ring. He was taken out the first part of the match.
He was. I thought they were going to do a gimmick where Brian gets actually taken to the back, and then Shane gets beat down, and then Brian storms the ring, gets the hot tag and cleans house. But it's similar.
It was when he got the tag to come in. It wasn't a case of a hot tag, and he quickly rushed into the ring. He took his time. And that was a great moment, and it just built the crowd up, built the anticipation up, and then you get to see the Daniel Bryan of old. Completely
agree, bud. Other sort of a tag we had at WrestleMania, which was non-championship, was the hugely anticipated debut of Ronda Rousey with Kurt Angle against Stephanie and Triple H. We were complete. I mean, having Ronda and Stephanie, because basically that's the only kind of. Okay, Ronda did get very physical with Triple H at some point through the match, which popped us so hard. And the referee is like Drake Younger, which is Drake Waltz, who is the NXT ref.
Yeah.
His first match on the main card, which you think is probably because of his relationship with Ronda at the PC.
Yeah, I think it has to do with just giving Ronda some familiarity with the people that she's trained with before and things like that, which makes sense, especially in her first match at a big massive show.
Also,
like that.
Drake's got his boss in there.
Yeah,
Triple H, his NXT boss. So again, he feels comfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been a performer for many years, but I don't think he would probably.
Yeah, and maybe there's part to do with Stephanie as well. You know,
so everybody in there would have been familiar with each other on a different aspect.
Yeah.
So, he's screaming at Triple H and Ronda to get out of the ring because they're not the right gender to wrestle each other.
Yeah, all night, all during this match. It was quite funny, but
they didn't listen.
No,
quite stuck in.
Yeah, and even Angle putting an angle lock on
Stephanie,
which was which you haven't seen sort of any man on woman action in terms of wrestling.
I physically cannot remember the last time a man put a lock or a hold on a woman.
Yeah.
Triple H even had Ronda in the pedigree position. Didn't do it, but he had her there.
Yeah, I mean they've been teasing it a little bit lately. Obviously, the mixed match challenge. You saw Sasha doing a suicide dive and Bobby Roode.
Girls on the guys.
Yeah, Zelina Vega was doing hurricanranas on opponents in NXT,
but not the other way around.
Yeah. So, but when it's done and when it's done right, it works. Now this wasn't Angle punching Stephanie in the face.
No.
You're not going to see that.
She tried to kick him,
but this is an ankle lock. And
do you know the way he held it there and looked around? Everyone was like, "Do it, do it,"
and which was good. I think everyone was pleasantly surprised in how good Ronda Rousey was during this match. I think everyone hoped that she was good. I think there was a lot of people that behind her saying, "I really hope she does well."
Kurt, even in a kayfabe sort of promo, goes, "Yeah, she's good. She's going to be good." You take it with a pinch of salt because you know it's in a promo. But when she came out and got that hot tag, oh my God.
It's exactly what she was like in UFC. The speed. She literally just got into the ring and ran straight over Stephanie.
Oh, it was absolutely no hesitation, wasn't it? It was just off she went.
I mean, thinking about it now, looking at it, I was like, that was perfect. She was all about speed and everything like that.
A rolling clothesline as well. That was
and that's what it was. Everyone just was like, wow.
And the one thing I was like, well, we're never going to get to see how good Ronda can be, or potentially how good she can be, because Steph's never been a very good wrestler.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Steph was where she needed to be, when she needed to be. Her timing was fine.
Sold it perfectly.
Sold it like an absolute boss. And I guess really on the reflection of that, we probably have to be quite impressed with Steph.
Yeah.
Because she has one person cannot look good if the other one doesn't make you look good. And Stephanie did that with Ronda. Really did well.
Before we go on to our next match, I'm going to throw this out here next year. So WrestleMania 35.
So you're away.
Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey will be the main event.
Oh, the whole show?
The whole show.
Not Asuka.
No, main event.
Charlotte versus Ronda closes WrestleMania 35.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a year. Things could change.
Mate,
I'll change my mind probably a couple of weeks.
I mean, we've got a year. It's a long time. I don't know how, come next year, what situation. I mean, if there's a Bryan Nakamura AJ match, I don't know how that can't go on last. If Brock Lesnar's with the company, he's gonna want to go on last. I don't know if he's gonna be with the company. Would they not let Roman go on last? I don't know. I think it could 1,000,000% headline another one of the top pay-per-views like the Rumble or Survivor Series. So I can 100% see Charlotte Ronda closing SummerSlam. Definitely. WrestleMania? Don't know. Would I be against it? Not at all. But
yeah,
there's
a long time to go. So
yep. We got that one right.
Thank God.
We got that one. Jesus Christ. Next one, we both got this one right. It was the women's championship match. Nia Jax challenging Alexa Bliss, and
you mean the Raw women's tag team match? The Raw women's title match. We're getting this both wrong.
A friend of mine messaged me and said, "I'm starting," because he hadn't watched wrestling for a while. Sort of coming back into WrestleMania, and he said to me that he asked me how many titles are there now. And he goes, they're kind of starting not to mean anything. Yeah. And I sort of said to him, like, I see your point, but this is what happens with a brand split. You know, you can't have two. Maybe if you got your dream of a 2-day Mania, instead of the women headlining one day and the men doing the next, why don't you have Raw one day, SmackDown the next? Yeah. And then you can sort of differentiate what is what. And sort of engross yourself in one show, then engross yourself in another show. But, you know, that's what happens when you got two of everything, basically.
So the Raw women's title match, we had an extra point for this one, which was if the match was to last over or under 3 minutes. You thought it'd be under 3 minutes.
I thought this would be. See, I knew there'd be a squashes somewhere in this card.
Yeah.
I just got the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's like to say you bottled it later in the show.
Yeah, we did.
No, not we. You bottled it. When I told you to put your money where your mouth is with Brock and Roman.
I won, and I was playing tactical.
Yeah,
so Nia Jax won. We both got that right.
So happy.
Happy for her. And the match was over 3 minutes, which I was happy for myself.
It was about 8 in the end.
Nia looked amazing.
She did. She kicked ass.
You know,
she absolutely whooped Mickie James's ass as well.
It's everything from this match. It was a shorter match. It wasn't 3 minutes, but it was a shortish match. And it achieved everything that it needed to.
SmackDown Women's Championship match. Asuka challenging Charlotte Flair. We both said Asuka. I said there'd be a cash-in. You said there wouldn't be. Charlotte beat her.
Match of the night.
And she tapped out.
Match of the night. I think in terms of technical wrestling standpoint, yes.
Yes, and I didn't notice at the time, but did you know this in the figure 8, she only used one hand?
Yeah.
Because she was selling her arm.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. Mate, I honestly, when I talk about Match of the Nights, because I watched it in the moment, I actually would have to watch it back again. The only other one that would be the mixed tag.
Yeah, that was more of a spectacle, and that's what we said.
It was, but at the same time, it's still really delivered in terms of moments in wrestling. A lot of the top moments in wrestling aren't matches; they're moments.
Yeah.
So maybe in there were moments in the match.
But this was a big moment.
This was a big moment. Not only did Charlotte win,
anyone expected it.
Not only did Charlotte win, but she made her tap.
Yeah.
So technically, Asuka's still not been pinned. That's kind of an accolade she can still continue with.
Yeah.
But she taps out.
But the streak is broken in New Orleans again.
The 900 and something odd days.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised they went with it, but maybe this just adds. It gives Asuka something to do because you can't overuse the streak, I think.
And also, again, now WrestleMania's come and gone, you can reflect on it and think logically behind stuff. If Asuka beats Charlotte, who else apart from Ronda, which was my logical thinking?
Yeah.
Ronda's the only one that can beat her, and then somewhere down the line, somebody like a Charlotte would beat Ronda. So it's kind of like you can beat you, but I can't beat you sort of thing. But no, Charlotte won. So
yeah,
Charlotte Ronda next year
was amazing. Found out who the 3 people were that were
Tito Sabatelli.
Which I think you guessed at the time.
I did. Can I get a point for that?
Riddick Moss. And I actually did guess Dan Mayfield as the big lanky dude.
I'm not going to lie, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. But I was quite impressed because he's the only tall, lanky sort of one I can remember from NXT. So.
Mate, that was a shout, by the way. Well, again, a very, very, very good match. Next WWE Championship match, Shinsuke Nakamura challenging AJ Styles. You said AJ, I said Shinsuke Nax. You got the point. But almost after the match was what we were not, certainly not for me, expecting a Nakamura heel turn.
Yeah, so on the match first, I think this was a little disappointing, but I think in terms of the 3 matches that went on at the end of the night, so the WWE title match, the Universal title match, and the Raw Tag Team title match, I think a lot of the crowd were burnt out. I think we were burnt out.
Knackered.
It might be worth watching this match again on fresh eyes.
I agree.
I don't think this match was as good as it could have been. But considering now that Shinsuke has turned heel, by
dynamic.
giving AJ Styles a low blow. There is a heel in this match and there is a face in this match, and when they face each other at Backlash, we assume that these two will put on a barnstormer, especially in a smaller arena.
More intimate.
It might feel better.
I think when it came to this match as well, like you say, everyone was burnt out, and
I thought this match would have gone first. Personally.
You did. No, you did.
If it went first, it would have been match of the night.
I always struggle with face matches.
Yeah.
If someone's a bit shady, doesn't have to be a massive full blown heel. Just someone a bit, to kind of like Braun versus Roman.
Yeah.
Some people love them, some people hate them.
Yeah.
Nobody hates AJ. Nobody hates Nakamura. It's mostly love for both of them.
Yeah.
Some people love Braun, some people hate them. Some people love Roman, some people hate them. So you can.
It's not Austin Rock, is it? If you were either Austin fan or a Rock fan, it didn't matter.
Even though they were both babyface, that's the only face match that I've ever really been able to be sold on.
Yeah.
Was even when Hogan and Rock did it, Hogan was the heel.
Yeah.
When Rock and Cena did it, Cena was the heel.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. Make of that what you will. But again, both were liked, both were hated. There's a dynamic.
Yeah.
Here, neither one were hated. So you kind of. It was literally just who do you like a bit more than the other one.
Yeah.
So well done for you.
Yeah,
You've got
AJ Styles. I thought they would. I just had this feeling they wanted to keep the title on AJ. I think AJ's he's the face of SmackDown. And
the house that he built.
He'll probably end up getting traded, but he's.
If he lost the belt, he would have done.
Yeah.
Can you see the Universal title on SmackDown? Change it to blue. Why not?
That's what I do think they should put the blue belt on the WWE title. I don't know how well it
just
look,
to kind of brandize it.
But,
And the last match, of course, was the actual main event of the show.
Yeah.
It was Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Universal Championship with Paul Heyman against Roman Reigns. And
a few people walked out.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I again, we weren't there.
No.
It's alleged that people decided to disappear on this and didn't want to watch the main event.
Yeah.
Because as far as they were concerned, they'd seen main events in the show. I don't think I would have walked out. I think that's quite strong.
We've always said, I think we've done it at Raw ones, we'd turn around when Roman Reigns. I think I'm sure it was Roman Reigns.
I don't know. It feels like it was like an Eva Marie moment or something.
No, we would have popped for Eva Marie.
That's true. We read a book at NXT. Remember that? Okay, I read a book. Was it Roman? We turned around.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
People behind us laughed.
From a visual standpoint, turning around and showing your back to the camera would have been a better.
Dead silence. Yeah. If you boo them, it's a reaction. If you cheer them, it's a reaction. If you leave. Ooh, that's strong. Yeah. Turning your back or just sitting there and not paying attention, it is rude. Like I should say, was it points in what match was it on WrestleMania? There was a point of WrestleMania where people were cheering or they were doing Mexican waves and they weren't paying attention. Was it the main event? Was it
possibly?
And like, if you're gonna be there and you're gonna pay all that money, those two kick the crap out of each other. I don't mind cheering. I do mind when you start playing with a beach ball. If you don't like it, if you don't like the match, do others and leave. Just go away. But this match was bloody.
Yeah.
I've not seen this much blood. Maybe.
Maybe
since. Okay, Randy got lacerated big time by Brock, and that's probably the last.
It wasn't all over his face though, was it? Like it was with Roman. Don't know. The last person I can think of this. It makes me think Austin Brett. It makes me.
No. I think of Cena JBL.
Yeah.
Cena was a mess. That was like 2004.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything? Was that a I Quit match, I think?
Yeah. 2005, I think that was. Just into Cena's first run as WWE champ.
After 21.
I was disappointed this was main event.
Yeah, me too.
I think, like saying, the last three matches tonight, people weren't interested in. Brock Lesnar ends up winning. We didn't get a point with that. We thought we were so adamant that Roman was going to win this, but obviously it turns out that Brock has signed an extension to his contract, so that's probably why he's kept the title.
It would appear it's just to the greatest Royal Rumble, but we'll talk about that maybe later on in the show. But yeah, that's WrestleMania. You beat me 8-4. It was horrific for me. It was an absolute khaki storm. So over the weekend, I got 9 points to add to our little rivalry, and you got 13 points?
12. So I've taken
No, 8 add... Oh, yeah, 12 points. 8 add 4.
Good maths, mate.
This is why I do this and not maths. So that has been mine and Kieran's WrestleMania recap, review, and points tally update. We're now going to kick on to Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown Live. Guys, these really do kick on. The Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is always passionate. And this one certainly did not disappoint. Next coming up is Monday Night Raw. the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and indeed now the SmackDown Live after WrestleMania, have always started to become must-sees. Like
Best show of the year.
Or
weekly show.
Who's gonna show up? Who's gonna leave? Will there be departures? Will there be trades? Will people leave? Well, straight off the bat, we'll talk about the debutants. There were 3 debutants from NXT on Raw. We had No Way Jose, which I know you liked.
I he's going to be on the lower card, right? But in terms of making fans happy, he's got a dancing gimmick, and
he's the Fandango.
Yeah, he is, and he might not end up doing much on Raw or on the main show, but if he gets some good matches and
the match he had with Austin Aries for me is still his best match. Yeah, when he snapped, and I was like, "Oh, you've got it in you."
He still needs to show that, and he needs the opportunity to show that. Otherwise, he'll just be he's just there to be funny.
But at the end of the day, as much as you do need a Roman and you need a Brock and you need a Cena, you do need a No Way Jose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You need variety and you need contrast.
No Way Jose and Elias, future tag team champs.
Oh my God, he dances. He sings. We wanted Aiden English and Elias, so let's just add a Way Jose in there as well. We also had Ember Moon, which I was really happy with. She was Nia Jax's surprise. Lots of surprise tag partners these last weekends. Yeah. She was the surprise tag partner for Ember Moon against Mickie James and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
So
perfect call up for Raw.
Great little team, by the way. Yeah. Nia and Ember Moon.
Yeah. So I mean, there's obviously rumours of a women's tag championship coming soon.
Imagine them.
Yeah. I still think you need a lot more deeper rosters for that. But yeah, I think it was a great little call up, great little acquisition for Raw. I think in terms of looking at it, she was a Raw superstar. You have this thing, then you have a look at someone, you go, yeah, you kind of just Raw. He's SmackDown. You just. There's
a couple of ladies that appeared on SmackDown, which we thought looked like SmackDown ladies. So we'll get to them in a little while.
So can't wait to see what happens with her. She battles against Sasha, Bailey, even Alexa in a one-on-one match, Mickie James. It's just things like that.
She's already had matches with Asuka.
Yeah, so
there we go.
It just paddens out the roster, more matchups, and it should be good for the women's division.
And the other we should say unit that debuted on Raw, which got a tremendous pop, was the AOP with Paul Ellering. The Authors of Pain are finally on the main roster.
We've been calling this for a few months now.
I still don't think they're ready.
No, they're very physical, and
maybe their physicality. I'm misconstruing it for unreadiness, but
yeah, the problem is if you're over physical, which is what they are, which they have to be, is that it can come across as that they're not doing it right. But then again, it comes across on TV as like, oh, you don't want to mess with these guys.
But then again, I think I said to you maybe off air on air that, I've watched a few New Japan shows and I think the WWE need more of those kind of guys where they bring more legitimacy to it. And I think the Authors of Pain do. And I think once they get on that tag team title spectrum, because all they did was just murder Rhino and Heath Slater. Second, that's Heath's like, any team in the back that wants him, I'm like, this is going to be
every person in the crowd stood up.
Every person started going, AOP, AOP. So great to see them.
Looks like they've dropped Paul Ellering as well. So
was he not on Raw?
No, he was there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
When after the end of the match, they stopped him and said, "Nope, don't come with us."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You must have just missed out on that part then.
I was going to say
Yeah. And Paul Ellering was just standing there while the Authors of Pain walked to the back. So
wow.
I don't know what it means. I don't know if he has been dropped.
It's a bit unfair.
Yeah, just a little bit. But maybe they think in terms of kayfabe, they
need a talker.
Yeah. Well, do they?
Yes, they need a talker.
Does he talk?
Well, when they talk, when Razor and
think about how Paul Ellering has talked for the Authors of Pain backstage segment, pre-recorded. Yeah, but he's never been in front of a live crowd.
Once or twice.
So Authors of Pain can just do that in a backstage segment.
Saying that when they do that in the Turkish young man.
One of them might be Samoan. I think so. I think so.
I thought that maybe one of them is Turkish, but I don't know the dialect they speak in when they do their little rants, but it feels really good. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, he's scary. So, yeah, OP on main roster. The only other person to debut, or should I say re-debut, was Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yes, he is.
And he's not been wrestling, has he, Kieran, for the last...
It's the first time that I've seen Bobby Lashley in quite a while, and he still looks physically great.
Yeah, I hate the headband.
I hate the headband.
Bloody off.
Yeah. Take it off.
Take it off.
Great to see him. I haven't watched a lot of Impact Wrestling at all. It's not really my thing.
When he first went, when he was on SmackDown, Bobby Lashley, which is what kind of his show was most of the time. I loved Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
He of course was in the very, very famous Battle of the Billionaires match at WrestleMania.
Yes, he was,
23.
Yeah. Also, Donald Trump was in the crowd at WrestleMania.
Yeah, did you see that behind him? I'm just like, and then when Bobby comes out, it's like, Bobby, in the same shot, you're Bobby Lashley, then in the background, you're the guy dressed as Donald. I'm like, oh, they're back again. It popped me so hard. I hope someone else picks up on that. So, yeah, Bobby's back. He looks in great nick. He went through Elias.
Yeah.
Pretty savagely.
Stalling vertical suplex for a good 20 seconds.
Hold out the hand, giving the crowd some of the old come on. If he can fill up to his... I mean, I don't necessarily think he actually got to his potential. He was ECW champion, had a match with Vince.
Yeah.
So obviously held in some regard to have the match with the boss.
Look, this just, again, thickens the roster. This is...
Where does he go? Does he go into that? Because I said to you, I could have seen very, very easily him doing a little bit what Drew Galloway did and go... Or Drew McIntyre, beg your pardon. Going into NXT just to kind of... re-establish. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think Drew's made it a part of his... I don't... If he didn't get injured, I don't maybe think he probably would still be an NXT champion.
Maybe.
And obviously they put on Almas, then Black, just to kind of contingency plan. But so, and I think it's, we know what Drew can do. We know what Bobby can do.
Yeah, I think you'll see Bobby in the Universal title picture.
There was a rumour he was going to face Brock.
Yeah.
But
it depends on if Brock is... how long his extension is.
That's not going to happen.
Brock versus Samoa Joe. Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe, both physical. Bobby versus Roman, both physical.
Bobby versus Roman would be nice.
That'd
be nice.
In terms of that, quite hard-hitting matches, there'll be quite a few. But he's got the athleticism as well to go in a match against a Seth, against a Finn,
against an AJ. Can you imagine somewhere down the line, Bobby versus Bryan, Bobby versus AJ? Yeah. Like the quicker guy versus the more powerful guy. Yeah. I think... I could say apparently Bobby's still doing Bellator as well. There's a rumour going around.
Yeah, I
don't think
he is. I think WWE wouldn't want anyone. Look, Brock's a different deal.
It's a different cut. Brock might as well be his own roster.
Yeah,
he's pretty much got the most unique deal going today. And again, Bobby's great, but I don't think why he'd want to still do Bellator when he's getting the WWE paycheck. Yeah. So. They're all back, and we had two guys return, which Raw just felt like it was full of new people.
Yeah,
it felt. I know there's a draft next week, or a rebranding,
superstar shake-up.
No, I hate the shake-up, brother. Yeah, but it felt like one this week on Raw because as Roman Reigns is in the ring, having a good old whinge about Brock being. Staying, WrestleMania, and then finding out he has a cage match in Saudi Arabia at the greatest Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, part 3, 2, whatever you want to call it now, 3 maybe. Samoa Joe's back. The place lost their marbles.
Yeah.
Joe
was absolutely savage on the mic as he usually is.
Just great.
So eloquent, so to the point.
Great delivery though. Yeah. Not only is Joe a phenomenal wrestler, his delivery is great, his promo is good, his look is unique. There's no one else that looks like Samoa Joe. If Roman beats Brock at the Greatest Royal Rumble, which we thought it happened at Mania, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I think it's quite likely now. I think they want to get that title off Brock, but because
Brock wouldn't shift at Mania.
Yeah, probably something like that. Makes sense to lose it at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Would be great for Saudi Arabia.
Can't say great too many times.
It's great. It's great. It's like Tony the Tiger.
It's like calling AJ phenomenal.
Yeah, he is phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
But yeah, so it'll probably end up being Roman versus Samoa Joe.
For the Universal title.
Likely, yeah, very likely.
I would like to see that. And actually, the way Joe is, I'd love to see him as champ, but it'd be too soon in that respect.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see Roman dropping the title anytime soon.
No.
So,
but there is a plethora of talent waiting. Your Seths. You still got. I mean, okay. The other person who had come back on Raw was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Came to the aid. I don't think they needed it, but he still came to the aid of Finn Balor and Seth Rollins against The Miz and the Miztourage. Because I'm thinking, all right, we've seen this handicap thing before, but you know what? I don't mind seeing it again. And then Jeff Hardy comes. I'm like, this is really unfair now. Like, don't the Miztourage get another man? Like, can Elias come out and give them a hand? Yeah. So.
Again, you know, so it's we're to assume that Jeff will now be a single superstar.
Well, we think that, but there was a really, really cool and very, very, very funny segment, almost a WrestleMania type backstage segment. We didn't get any of them last year, did we?
No,
none of your damn backstage or your gobbledygookers and none of that. It was, you know, cutting. They had to cut some stuff off.
Probably, yeah.
But, you know, having matches instead of backstage promos. I'm fine with, to be fair. Jeff Hardy was walking with Finn and Seth to the ring for their match against The Miz and the Miztourage, and Matt Hardy comes into shot. Jeff kind of did a little bit of a broken woken lingo dingo thing, and then Matt introduced him to Brother Wyatt or Brother Bray or whatever he called him, and then Jeff and Bray hugged.
Yeah,
it's like a family reunion.
Bray Wyatt goes, Brother Nero.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's like, oh, little pop, you know, and then they hugged and then, you know, obviously they saying he had the broken language and everything like that.
Yeah, or the lingo dingo.
And then walks away, and Seth and Finn are looking at him like, what the hell was that?
Oh, it's so well delivered. It was just like when the camera panned back over to Seth and Finn, they're just like, the faces on them absolutely painted the picture. Didn't even need to speak. It's like, yeah, this is crazy. So great to see Jeff back. Like we said earlier, I can see him and Matt and Bray. So Bray and Matt will be on one show and Jeff will another. What
potentially
that is?
Jeff will be at the Intercontinental title level. He's one of them that you probably could move to a world title picture if you needed to at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
With injuries.
Yep.
But he'll be at that Intercontinental US title level in my eyes.
He is someone that if it's not going well, in regards to the ratings, merch, etc., you could easily say, right, Jeff, we're going to stick you on the title for 2 months, and then we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah,
definitely. So great to see Jeff Hardy back.
Yeah.
In the WWE picture. A couple of other little things we'll talk about. Ronda did appear on Raw. She came out when Stephanie was kind of trying to put her over, saying like, you know, your muscle and ability and my business savvy and brains, like we can take on the world, it'll be amazing, you know, think of the places we can go, the reach the WWE, you know, the juggernaut that it gets behind you, just think about that. And then Ronda put her in an armbar. Yeah,
it was a great little armbar, like the roll, and she pulling off the brace on her arm, which was like, it was amazing, it was perfect, didn't it? The crowd obviously were going nuts for it.
Before she actually then whacked it on, the whole place went, "Ooh!" Yeah. Only
a British crowd.
Yeah, exactly. It's a British crowd. So that popped to me quite a lot because it was it's like, this isn't American, is it? So yeah, we don't know what. I mean, I assume Steph will be off television for a while. I can't see her being on TV for maybe a few months. Maybe.
I don't think we see Ronda on TV for a month or two.
Don't know where this goes really. It's been interesting. We also saw a couple of fellows that got fired at WrestleMania show up. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They were looking for a job.
Yeah.
And they went and saw Kurt Angle. Kieran, talk us through what Kevin and Sami were doing.
So, obviously, they lost their match at Mania to Bryan and Shane, so that means they were no longer part of the SmackDown roster and in their best suits and get up and trying to impress
Kevin didn't even have a tie on.
Yeah.
Lazy.
He never does, I don't think.
He did when he was US champion.
Maybe, yeah. So they obviously asked Kurt for a job. Kurt says he doesn't have room because obviously of all the call-ups and stuff that he's just done.
Mm-hmm.
So Kurt ends up putting them in a match against each other.
What did Kurt say before that?
Well, this was probably Line of the Night, Pop of the Night.
Pop of the Weekend.
Pop of the Weekend.
Line of the Weekend.
First time it's ever been mentioned on WWE TV, I think, as well.
In I know AJ...
The actual name.
Oh, the actual name.
Not just in some Impact or something like that. But
AJ has said it in the car when him and Bobby Roode drive along.
Yeah, but that's not. But that's
in a television live atmosphere.
So Kurt Angle goes, "Oh, I hear TNA are hiring," and I sat down. I was like, I actually had to rewind it back because I could not believe he actually said it. And he must have got clearance to say it.
Oh, you don't get...
But you don't know with Kurt. Kurt sometimes comes out with just random things.
But it's not their name anymore, so why would it harm?
Yeah.
I mean,
5 minutes after it was said, Impact Wrestling put out a tweet saying that that you can watch their show Wednesdays at 9
Good.
Central.
Why not?
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Instead of complaining about it and whinging about it, like, oh, why are they taking the fun up? Just use it.
Yeah.
Use it as the... Yeah, it's the only way they can do it.
I'm sure there may have been some sort of... Look, I think there's a Hardy's documentary
We
coming
saw
up,
this...
and there was some TNA footage
of when Jeff was a little bit tipsy when he faced Sting. And when that package came up with WrestleMania, it was gone.
Yeah.
Because me and you were sitting there with the boys going, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up. And then it didn't.
Yeah.
It's like a semi-blurred, still kind of moving shot of Jeff wobbling.
Maybe this may have been a little part of a deal. Maybe say, look, we'll mention you on TV or something. Just, if you let us have this footage. One of these little things.
We're not only going to mention you, we're going to absolutely rip the piss out of you.
Yeah.
There's two other things that happened. One we'll talk about now, which was the Bray and Nicholas. Braun and Nicholas, beg your pardon. Your Raw Tag Team Champions. Popped in and saw Kurt, and Braun very quickly said, look, we're going to have to vacate these. I was like, oh, why do they have to? And then Kurt kind of said the same thing. It was like, well, Nicholas is 10. He's in the 4th grade, man. He's got a lot to do, brother.
Scheduling conflict.
Yeah. He's got the 4th grade. Like, he must have had to have missed school that day. I don't know if they're half term like we have in this country.
Yeah, probably.
But if he didn't, he's just missed a day of school.
Yeah.
Why would you? I was on Raw, miss.
Yeah.
And then do you know what Nicholas said? And when I'm back, we're gonna get these hair.
Crowd absolutely loved him. Do you
know what? You could roll him back out. And okay, in a again, done a little bit of homework, seen bits and bobs. Apparently, he was John Cone's son.
Yeah.
Referee John Cone, who refereed that tag match.
Yeah.
It's his boy.
Yeah.
His boy is a Raw Tag Team Champion.
You can just imagine how it went backstage, right? We need Braun's partner. Hey, who's got a son? John's gone, I do.
Yeah. So that is something you will remember for the rest of your life.
So that leads into a tag team eliminator to face the Bar. Which will then...
That's in Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks' time. So we had two... So the qualifying matches were the Anderson and Gallows versus the Revival, and Hardy and Wyatt, the Broken, I don't know what you call them, versus Titus Worldwide. Now, Titus Worldwide thinking, okay, you might have half a shot here, boys. Maybe this is your time.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not. So the finals will be Revival versus Hardy and Wyatt. I kind of expect Hardy and Wyatt to win this.
Yeah.
It's simply because of what they're doing, and again, heel, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Would I rather see the Revival in this match? Of course I would. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's not baby steps for them on the main roster.
Not their time.
They've had so many stop-starts with injuries.
Exactly.
They just have to take what they've got, and I think, again, I love them and I hope they get there one day. I think they will, but for now I think Hardy and Wyatt, that seems to be what they want to do. The only other thing we do want to talk about, which we'll talk in massively in depth in the SmackDown review, is Paige. Now, she has retired.
Yeah.
We've known this, like
it's been a good couple of months. It's what, 2-3 months from Rumble time,
even before the Rumble.
They
were, when she got cleared to come back, and then she had that house show where she had that whiplash.
Yeah.
And she hasn't really done anything since, but she has retired. It was a very heartfelt speech. She thanked Edge. She thanked Kurt.
She thanked Brian.
She thanked Kurt.
No, I don't think she thanked Daniel Bryan.
Sorry.
Because obviously she hopes that
he gives her hope.
Yeah. Which was nice little touch.
She thanked her family, her friends, in the WWE Twitter page said, great accolades for her, and pretty much said, without you there would have been no Divas Revolution.
Yeah.
So you started
which is true, really. She was the first. She was the anti-diva in NXT.
She was the first NXT break call-up, I'd say.
Yeah.
Female call-up.
Yeah, she was the first NXT Women's Champion, and in NXT they'll focus on actual women's wrestling.
Champion, not Divas, Women's Champion.
She got called up to the main show, and then I think from that point when she started to face AJ, and when she had the Divas title to begin with.
Her and AJ first the Bellas at WrestleMania. Yeah. That happened. I forgot about that.
They started to change their mindset when it comes to women's wrestling. I think it wasn't to say it was all on Paige, but from Paige getting called up, that was when they started changing things, because they knew they had someone who was a great women's wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was Raw. I mean, I know we talked about Kevin and Sami. Did we say they had the match?
Yeah, they had a match, which went to a double. count out.
A double count or a double down.
Double down.
A double count out in regards to both men in the ring. Couldn't answer the referee's call of 10. If one of them had won this match, they would have got a contract. So because it's a draw,
I would have liked for them to be a little bit more decisive in that. I think it just to say, look, we'll just give Kevin a contract, and then Sammy will just or give Sammy the contract and give Kevin.
Clearly, they've got something.
Yeah, they've got something planned. It could end up in Evolve maybe at some point. Maybe show up on NXT. Sami Zayn could end up going to 205 Live and not get a contract because he's like 10 pounds overweight or something.
Can't be that much over,
but it'd be interesting to see. That'll be a backstage segment. Say, Drake Maverick goes, Sammy, I'd love to sign you up, but if you step on these scales, you need to be under 205 pounds,
or literally bang on.
Yeah.
You can't be 217.
And if you're anything over, we can't allow you in. And then if he ends up standing on and he's 216 pounds or whatever, which I think he is. I think he's about that.
216.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'd be like, well, unfortunately, we can't let you. And then maybe you get Sammy doing training videos to get down under 205 Live or something.
Could you imagine? I'd happily watch a half an hour special on the network, Sammy becoming 205. Like that would be just like, and like, does that mean that he is Rocky Balboa and Kevin Owens is the trainer?
Yeah.
So that was Monday Night Raw. It was just full of returns, full of debuts. The roster feels proper thick on Raw now, really thick. But SmackDown's got a couple of surprises, and that is literally coming up next. So we talk about how Raw had debuts and returns. SmackDown really didn't have much of that going.
No, and considering that SmackDown have officially now lost Kevin and Sammy,
which is a big part of their main event picture.
Yeah, they've lost talent and they've only gained two.
With 2 in, 2 out.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so 2 out.
2 in, 2 out, but no returns.
And kind of a Brian does kind of count as an in.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So he obviously Brian is now back completely wrestling.
Yep.
He wrestled on SmackDown. We'll get to that shortly. But the debuts, we'll talk about this and we'll kick off from this. Were the Iconic Duo, but they've got a new name.
Yep, they're now called the Iconics.
Now you got a little bit of
they may have changed the name. They've never really officially been called the Iconic Duo on NXT, but that's what they were called. They were known.
Haven't they got T-shirts?
I think they're their own. Yeah, they're their own T-shirts. I think that they
don't think
they're
ever on sale.
Don't think they've ever been on sale. So obviously, I think this is something to do with a trademark. Maybe they couldn't trademark the Iconic Duo, so they've gone for the Iconics. It's Iconics with 2 eyes.
Is it?
I think so. I think a lot of people go in hashtag 2 eyes Iconics. So obviously, the 2 eyes being Billy Kay and Peyton Royce.
Billy Kay was in the wasn't. So
Peyton Royce was in the Women's Battle Royal,
but not in her normal gear. It was almost like a plainer gear.
Yeah.
As almost like this female team NXT, and we were like, "Where's Peyton? Where's Billy Kay? This is weird." And then weird. They're both on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So don't know why.
Been calling for this a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think their promo skills are really good. They're Australian, so their actions may put a few people off, and the way they.
That's why again, foreign heel.
Yeah, exactly. They're heels. They're very.
A lot of Australians in WWE.
Very mean girls. That sort of
they're
thing.
your kind of sorority girl, your classic kind of bitchy. Probably. I mean, not that they do, and not that we condone this, but you would. If you was at secondary school in England, you'd almost imagine them smoking by the bike sheds.
Yeah, probably.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going out with all the jocks and the captain of the football team. And
so their promo coming to the ring was it was very that. I think
against Charlotte.
Yeah, against Charlotte. When Charlotte was in the ring, they were cutting this promo, and it was very the crowd. I didn't say the crowd were into it, but as soon as they started finishing out their little spiel saying she's this and she's that, and she's wearing gold and she's that,
really,
then there was the pop. I think at some point in the future they may have to slow that down a little bit because I think it was almost too fast, that delivery.
There's 2 teams that are great at fast deliveries, the New Day and the Usos, but they've been doing it a hell of a long time. So
but these girls can wrestle. These girls can cut a promo, and that's only going to be good for the SmackDown.
And not that it's as important as it once was, they're also very pretty. Yeah. So you've got the whole package. You've got athleticism, you've got wrestling ability. You've got promo ability. It honestly, these 2 I mean, if they do a women's tag division, these two are absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
These two should win it.
Yeah.
I know that's a big statement because there's a lot of ladies in that, but they should be.
Again, this move for them pads out the women's roster on SmackDown.
But what we should really talk about, I know it does. Oh yeah, it definitely pads out big. In actual fact, they've added 2, and the Raw only had 1. So SmackDown got a better women's ad if you want to sort of look at it like that. Although SmackDown men's did get Daniel Bryan back, so. But they really put a kick in on Charlotte.
They did.
They did not take it easy. No. Pushed into the electronic sort of corner post.
Into the steel steps.
There was a power bomb to the outside.
Yeah.
Charlotte was left a bit of a mess, and what I thought would happen at WrestleMania and what you said would happen on Tuesday night happened on Tuesday night. Carmella cashing in, the bell rang and everything, it was all kicking off, and she won.
Mike Chioda reluctantly.
What was that about?
He's like, what am I meant? It'd be interesting to see if Chioda's been involved in any Money in the Bank cash-in or something that, from the past, but he was taking his sweet time, and I was
I'll have to look back on that.
Maybe it was done on purpose. Maybe it's gone to go, look, Carmella's not going to win. Just if that little thing, that little delay.
He was like, are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, I'm not.
He went to go to the corner, and then he turned back around and said, "Are you
sure? And she's like, "Oh, yes!" Screaming. I was like, "Jesus, Mike, just get on with it."
Yeah.
And then it was one swift kick to the old chops, and we had our new SmackDown Live Women's Champion.
So
Carmella.
maybe this is why Charlotte beat Asuka, because I don't think if Asuka would have won this match at WrestleMania, you would have seen the cash-in happen
Which is
on Asuka.
why we both said Asuka to win and a cash-in at WrestleMania. Yeah. But well done, Carmella. She's come a long way from being Enzo and Cass's kind of behind piece.
To say she deserves it. What she does probably in terms of her career. I think everyone deserves. If you've had a decent semi-good career, you deserve the women's title. You deserve a title of some respect. Obviously, for the women, you've only got one title to go for. Mm-hmm. But I think her Money in the Bank briefcase reign wasn't the best, and I think we were.
Yeah, only got good towards the end.
Yeah, she was almost forgotten about.
She didn't wrestle a lot. She really didn't. There was a couple of other sort of championship sort of developments, if we may, in regards to the number one contendership. The New Day versus the Usos for the number one contendership against the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm not sure if this happens at the Greatest Rumble or at Backlash. I think it's Backlash for this.
I think so. It could be Greatest Royal Rumble though. It's so many because it takes 10 days before. It's very weird.
It is very weird. I know the timing is odd, and because now every pay-per-view on the network is dual branded, so there's not every 3 weeks, but because of this Greatest Royal Rumble, which is almost like a network special slash pay-per-view, because it's now turning into this ridiculous thing where you'll also have Cena versus Triple H, Taker versus Rusev in a casket match. I wage
7 titles defended and a 50-man Royal Rumble match. This is going to be like it's going to be a 5-hour show.
This sounds like WWE 2K18 like universe mode. Let's just make our own pay-per-view or something.
This match will be 5 hours. This whole thing will be 5 hours.
That Rumble, if every 2 minutes, every 90 seconds, it would have to be like an hour and a half before everyone's even out.
Plus 7 title matches.
Oh my god.
That's 2 extra matches. So there's technically 10 matches. One of them's a Rumble.
There's 10 matches?
10 matches. They're all 7 titles. All 7
apart from
men's titles.
The ladies can't wrestle.
All 7 men's titles will be defended. Plus Rusev and Taker. Plus Cena and Triple H.
In England, this starts at 5 p.m.
Which is a great time.
Which for us,
we want more like that.
Genuinely cannot be more delighted if we tried.
We might not ever get a pay-per-view over in this country, but put it in Saudi Arabia more often.
We want more pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia because we agree with our timings. Probably finish about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's your Friday night. Yeah. I can think of worse ways to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. The Usos won. The Usos beat the New Day.
Great little match. Great little TV match. Between the two.
The chemistry is phenomenal.
Yeah, look, this is what maybe the match should have been at Mania, given the time. But maybe that's why they gave this a little bit more time on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. The other championship development was the other 3 gentlemen in the United States Championship match. So we're talking Rusev, Bobby, and Randy had a number one contender match on SmackDown to face Jinder at Backlash. That is 100%. Happening at Backlash for the for the US title, and Randy won. So a whole year after they faced each other for Randy's WWE title, they will now face each other for Jinder's US Championship. Talk about
I can't wait.
Oh my god! Do you remember that last year? It was so bad.
I'm falling asleep right now talking about it.
God. It was so bad because it was just because we all knew this tour of Indy was coming up, and we're like, oh my god, this is gonna happen.
But it turns out before that tour of India, AJ Styles won the title back. So,
He didn't even win as champion. Did he lose to Triple H as well out there?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, not to be forgotten, the WWE title reign of Jinder Mahal, but you actually said, I think I could see Jinder being US champ for a year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be for a year, but I think this whole US...
I hope it's not, but...
This whole US title run will be what the WWE title run should have been. When Jinder had that WWE title, it should have been for the United States title. It would have made a lot more sense, the title belt being the United States title and his anti-America gimmick that he was having at
Living
the time.
in America.
Yeah,
that too. So, there was a huge piece of news on SmackDown. Shane addressed the crowd and said that he, and this is weird, he delightedly accepted Daniel Bryan's resignation, which they didn't do on camera, which, they don't need to do all of this sort of bits and bobs. He accepted his resignation as SmackDown GM, which we knew was happening. Eventually was going to happen.
At some point, yeah.
We were, there was generally an unsureness of if he would be GM and wrestle, kind of like, but I think for clarity, they've done this for a reason.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to wrestle every week. He probably won't wrestle every week. And Shane said, when one door closes, another one opens. So let me introduce you to the new general manager of SmackDown Live, Paige. Paige is
a
huge pop.
Dressing a little bit more appropriately.
Heels as well.
Yes. She's now on the same show as Xavier Woods.
She is.
Cue some backstage segment in the future.
Cue something very awkward at some point.
I
don't think she was dressed more appropriately, actually, if I'm thinking about it.
No, but she was better than what she dressed as on Raw as Absolution's manager, so to speak. I like this.
Yeah, this is great.
I think this is in terms of the women's evolution, having a general manager that's technically in charge of the men as well. Looks good.
She will. Of course. I mean,
there'll be a lot of focus from her on TV from her, or probably on the women's division. She might even call up someone from NXT next week. Well, just to go.
Who would maybe she calls Absolution over to SmackDown.
Maybe. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They're gonna need new music now, by the way.
They will.
As a tag, they will now go just watered down to a tag team. Yeah. Which I think
let's quickly talk Absolution. I don't think they go to SmackDown. I think you see them join up with Sasha Banks next week on Raw.
Yeah, you were
I've said this
little shoot on this. Yeah. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think that'll happen. I don't think they can move Absolution over to SmackDown because Paige is there.
Privately,
I don't think it will happen.
The best thing to happen in regards to individually the two ladies, I think Mandy Rose and Goldust becoming tag team partners after one. So she replaced Alicia Fox and Goldie replaced somebody else, I think.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
So they ended up together as Rose Gold or Gold Rose, or it's just perfect fit. I would much rather see Goldust and Mandy Rose back together permanently. But like you say, if Sasha becomes the figurehead of Absolution or a retweak of that, then so be it, and I think that'd be great. So one thing that Paige did do in her first official night as SmackDown General Manager was make the main event. She made Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. So
she was looking for crowd participation in this match, and she was saying, "Who do you want them to face against Daniel Bryan in the main event?" And everyone started chanting for Rusev, and Paige and Shane awkwardly looked at each other, and it was like, so she went for it again. Who do you want to see face Daniel Bryan in the main event? And then everyone went, AJ Styles. There we go. That's our cue.
Whoopsie.
Which is quite funny. But that's a pop for Rusev.
God. Who thinks he actually he wanted his release? Like, why would they?
He's now facing Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
In a casket match.
He's going to lose, but he's facing the Undertaker.
He's never going to get to wrestle the match. It is literally Undertaker's gimmick. Yeah. That is it.
Yeah.
He'll lose, but I don't think he cares.
So Paige announced Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles in the main event. Mm-hmm. During the show, Renee Young is looking for Shinsuke Nakamura to get his thoughts on what he done at WrestleMania on Sunday against AJ Styles.
He did. Can I just say the line?
You can say the line.
I not speak no English.
He's meant to be a heel, right?
We're not taking the mickey by him, right?
No.
This is what Nakamura said, and he did it in such a great way. I popped so hard for this.
His first line was that he didn't know what come over him. He was passionate. He didn't know what he was doing.
Which is what he said AJ was.
Yeah.
AJ be too passionate and we'll be able to concentrate.
Yeah. And then Renee asks him,
another being sincere. Like, he kind of went on a bit and said, like, I'm really sorry. I don't know what came over me. I apologise to everyone. And he kind of kept like looking around and rolling, kind of like half rolling his eyes. And Renee was like, you're being disingenuous.
Disingenuous, I think that's what she said.
What a word, disingenuous.
Yeah. And that's when the line comes out. Sorry, me speaking not English. And the crowd were in hysterics. Like,
oh my god.
We have said before about Shinsuke's promo skills and even Asuka's promo skills because of the Japanese. It's
yeah, of course,
to English.
Of course.
But obviously, he's just alluded to that, and it was just like, cracked me up. Absolutely cracked me up.
So funny. So yeah, he's supposed to be the most hated guy. He did mess up the main event. He did get involved in AJ Bryan, which I mean, someone had to. I mean, you can't have a free AJ Bryan match on SmackDown.
AJ Styles couldn't lose that match, but Daniel Bryan couldn't lose that match. So having Shinsuke interfere, having Shinsuke do a Kinshasa on Daniel Bryan, a bit of foreshadowing there.
That's gonna kick off.
It was a good little match. He's showing what the AJ and Bryan can do, but Shinsuke showing his new heelish tendencies. Quite like it. I quite like it. I've not seen a lot of his Japan work, but
I've seen bits. I've not seen like
he seems a very natural heel.
He's very comfortable.
Like but maybe because he's going to be a bit over the top, very dramatic.
But see, I think some of his style is quite heelish, a stronger physical.
His moveset is quite heelish.
You think about Good Vibrations. He's invoking a referee's count.
Yeah.
That for me, if anybody has to invoke a referee's count for any particular reason, then even as a babyface, that's kind of a tendency of a heel.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing. But that was SmackDown Live. That's been Raw. That's been WrestleMania. This has been Dirt Sheet Mania episode 11. Kieran, what a week it's been.
It has been.
It's been tremendous.
We'll be back with our regularly scheduled programming next week.
We will. So we'll be back regular every week. And I don't know whether we're going to do the Greatest Royal Rumble in regards to like adding it to our predictions. I'm not sure. We'll
work it out. We'll see what the card is and obviously time is. Because what we struggled with the last week is obviously being at work. And
being awake.
Yeah, and being awake, being everything in between, releasing, editing videos. It's been a slog. And it's been...
you're about to start crying.
I'm back to work on Saturday, so I'm going to use the next 2 days just to sit there and relax and chill out.
I had a 10-hour day today, and I got a 10-hour day tomorrow, and I'm moving on Sunday. So, we're both mega busy people, so, But, guys, we do really appreciate everyone that's listened. Please share it. Show your friends. Tell your family about us. Tell the old mother and father. Dirt Sheet Mania episode 11 is in the can. Kieran, you've been the director of creativity.
I have been.
Thanks for procrastinating all day, so I had to come here and do all the work.
Make sure you do better at WrestleMania next week. Next year.
Next week? Please not again. Yeah. I don't want another 7-hour show.
Yeah. You have to rethink your title.
I still owe you that money for the pizza you get, by the way. I still haven't transferred that.
Sweet.
I've been busy. I've been your Chief of Wrestling, Craig Anderson. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.